Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is about AWS Data Analytics Certification. Recently I cleared the certification and I got a lot of DMs on LinkedIn. People wanted me to share the resources that I referred, my strategy for this exam. So I thought I'll create one video and upload that on my YouTube channel. So it took me around 4 months to prepare for this certification. I went through numerous reInvent videos, then AWS big data blogs, lot of white papers and whatnot. I did wasted a lot of time on many courses and practice papers, which I feel that you should not. I'm creating this video because you don't have to spend that much time for preparing this certification. I'll let you know the appropriate resources that you can refer. And if you need to know anything else about this certification, you have any question, you can let me know in the comment section and I'll try to answer all your questions. Now, let's see what I'll be covering in this video. I'm going to cover general information about this certification, then different AWS services that you need to study for this exam. Then I'll cover focus areas. So these are the topics that you must cover. Then the fourth one is how to decipher the questions. I'll show you the different type of questions that you can get. And the last one is resources. I'll give you a detailed list of resources that you can follow and you can start your certification journey. So let's move to the general information. So the certification will cost you $300 and there would be taxes. You'll get 65 questions and to answer them you will have 170 minutes. You can apply for 30 minutes accommodation if you are a non-native speaker. You can take this test at home or at any approved testing center. The question that you will get are of multiple choice and there can be multiple responses. I think in total I got 7 or 8 questions in my certification exam which required multiple response. If you go to the AWS Management Console, under the Analytics tab, you will see all these services. You have to cover all these services in very detailed manner. Though I didn't find any question on Cloud Search and DataBrew. DataBrew is relatively a new service. I think you can skip these 2 services. Rest all of the services you have to go through. You must do hands-on also. Certification is divided into 5 domains. Collection covers 18%, then we have storage and data management 22%. The processing part covers 24%. Then analysis and visualization. The last one is security. Let me show you the official guide of certification. So this is the exam guide that I downloaded from the AWS website. If you see this, you get all this information, like you have multiple choices and multiple response questions. Your exam may contain unscored content. In reInvent videos this year, I was attending one session on AWS Certified Solution Architect Pro exam. Presenter did confirm this, that your exam may contain 10 to 15 questions that are just placed in your exam to gather some information and check your response. You get your exam results immediately. You'll get to know that if you pass or you fail the examination, you need to score 750 out of 1000. So let's go back to our PPT. In collection domain, which covers 18%, you have to cover all these services. Data streams, data firehose, managed streaming for Kafka, then database migration service, then data sync, snowmobile and snowball. You'll get a question like, you have on-prem data of hundreds of TBs and you want to move data inside your AWS cloud. So which solution would you be choosing? So you have multiple options, like you may choose data migration service or data sync or snowball. So pay close attention to these kind of questions. These 3 services are very important when you are moving from on-prem to AWS cloud. Next is storage and data management. That counts for 22%. The most important service for storage is S3 and Glacier. You should be familiar with all the S3 types and S3 lifecycle policies. Because S3 integrates with Redshift and Athena, you will find S3 being referred in many of the questions in certification. So do it holistically. The next two are DynamoDB and Redshift. I found very few questions on DynamoDB, but Redshift you have to prepare comprehensively. Maybe because Redshift comes under analytics domain also. The third domain is processing, which covers 24%. Here you will find many famous AWS services such as Lambda, Glue, EMR and data pipeline. You will not get any question on EC2 as such, but you should be aware about the type of instances such as reserved, on demand, spot, and when to use which type of instance, because you may get a question that you have to reduce the cost of your solution or you have to design a system which is cost effective. So in these type of questions you should be aware which EC2 instance you should be using. Then you get many questions on data catalog. Glue is very important. Mind my word, Glue is very important for this certification. Fourth one is analysis and visualization, which cover 18% of the syllabus. But when I gave the exam, I found many questions from this domain. So on visualization front, QuickSight is very important. You also get visualization under the hood with Elasticsearch in the form of Kibana. So be very sure to select appropriate visualization when getting question in exam. So as per my experience, when you get question on visualization with analysis, it would most likely be Kibana and ES. But if you get question on visualization with machine learning included, then the answer would be QuickSight because of its inbuilt capability. So you may get a question that you want anomaly detection and you want visualization on the data, but you want to reduce the cost. So you should choose QuickSight, because why to create different ML models when you have inbuilt functionality in QuickSight, right? So pay close attention guys to the questions. Last but the most important one is security, which cover 18%. Here you should be familiar with IAM, KMS. You should only care about the basics of KMS. You have to study about security of all the services that we covered in the previous slides. Apart from that, you need to study about governance and compliance control also. There are few services such as AWS Artifacts Secrets Manager, then AWS Config, then CloudTrail and CloudWatch. So these all deal directly with governance and compliance. So at least you should have basic understanding, when to choose which service. Then we have Cloud HSM also. So if you want a single tenant security solution, then you have to study about Cloud HSM. This integrates very well with Redshift, so please study that also. You might get question on that. So now we will cover focus areas. These topics, as per me, are very important when you are preparing for this exam. This is my first hand experience, so I'm not saying that you will get direct questions on this, but if you cover these topics, you will have high chances of clearing this certification. Athena is very important. You will get many questions of Athena. In Athena, you should cover the benefits of using workgroups, then how to control usage in terms of cost and data, then how to improve Athena queries. I'll give you one AWS blog link which cover different options that we can configure to improve our queries, which will, improve the cost and with faster query results. Then you should also cover limitations of Athena, because you may get a question where you have to choose between two services like Athena and Redshift Spectrum. So you should be aware in which cases Athena is not a good option. For example, if you have data in Glacier and you want to do some analytics on that data, so how will you do that? The second one is QuickSight. So in QuickSight, you should be aware about different type of visuals. There are around 18-20 types of visuals supported by QuickSight. I would say that you have to focus on geomaps, heat maps, pivot tables, and pie charts. Then ML in QuickSight is very important. Then you must be aware about supported data sources. Like if the data is in JSON format or CSV format, you can directly open that in QuickSight. You don't need to query that data in Athena and then connect Athena with the QuickSight. Then you have security. Particularly row level security is very important. In EMR, you should be well aware about EMRFS and bucket overrides. You should be aware how different buckets should be configured for different teams in a single EMR cluster. Then the Hive catalog is very important. So you should be aware about integration of Hive catalog with the Glue catalog. Then one question that you might get in exam is high availability in EMR. So how do you make sure that your EMR is highly available? There are different approaches that you need to choose, like using Glue catalog, using EMRFS, then multiple master nodes. In the Kinesis, very important topic is resharding. Then how do you handle duplicate records in Kinesis? These two are very important. I got direct question on these two. Then I got question on Kinesis agent also. There was a detailed scenario and I had to choose option on the different producer. So which producer would fit in that particular scenario. Then checkpointing feature is very important. Then Redshift is very, very important. Copy command, I'll say that I got around 4 to 5 questions on copy command under different scenarios. You may get question on short query acceleration versus WLM. Then study about different distribution styles and in which scenario you will choose what. Integration of Redshift with Spectrum. As I told you earlier, if you have a data source in S3, which one would you choose, Athena or Spectrum? Do study about different scenarios where Athena is chosen over Spectrum, or if Spectrum is the best choice over Athena. Then you should be aware about resizing the cluster. Do read about the latest documentation, elastic resize or the classic resize. These are very important. Then we have Elasticsearch. You should well aware about integration of Elasticsearch with Kinesis data firehose. Then copying cluster to different regions. Then Kibana versus QuickSight, as both of these services are used for visualization. Then security in Elasticsearch is also important. You may get a scenario that you want to use Kibana on premises. Glue. In Glue, you have to cover different inbuilt ML transformations. Then Glue data catalog is very important. You may see Glue data catalog in many questions in references. You may get questions on crawlers. What are different type of classifiers? You can watch one of my video where I covered in detail about Glue classifiers. Then Glue jobs and bookmarking feature is very important. Then you should be aware about different type of errors that you might get in Glue, such as out of memory error while running Glue jobs. S3 is very, very important. So different storage classes, lifecycle policies, then S3 select versus Glacier select. The last point that I already covered when I was explaining about different services. You should very well study about these 4 differences. When to choose storage gateway, data sync, snowmobile and snowball. Because in many questions you will have scenario like your big data is already on premises and you have to move your data into AWS cloud. So which one is the fastest way to do that? So keep that in mind. Then the second last is data migration service. So you should be aware about one-time transfer and change data capture and how this change data capture works. On security side, you should be aware about IAM, server-side encryption, and how to use keys with KMS. Let's come to the type of questions. This exam will test how alert you are. The question size is very big, so you have to very carefully choose the options. I'll give you an example. Suppose you get a question on collection domain and it says that you are building a system that should provide real-time information, or let's say near real-time information, but at the same time it can ask you that record size should be 2 MB. So you have to very carefully choose between MSK, Kinesis data streams and Firehose. Like this only, you will get question on querying large amount of data in S3, but at the very same time, it may ask you to choose solution with no operational overhead, and will provide you options like Athena and Redshift Spectrum. So I feel that these 6 phrases actually determine the answer that you choose in the exam. So whenever you are attempting the question in exam or doing practice papers, you have to look out for these phrases in your question. So these will help you to select the right answer, because the questions are very confusing. You may have to choose solution which is cost effective, or which is fully managed, or solution with no operational overhead, solution without ML knowledge. You get a question like you have to build some visualizations and you have to provide ML insights on that, but your team doesn't have any knowledge on that, so you have to provide solution without ML knowledge. Have to choose the solution with least effort so that you don't have to code anything. For example, you are implementing near real-time system and you have to save the data in S3 and you want solution with least effort. Now, if you get an option like choose Kinesis data stream with Lambda function with Lambda saving the data to S3, or the other option like choose Firehose and with data target as S3, then obviously the second option will have least effort. You don't have to code anything in that. If you are writing a data stream with Lambda which will save your files to S3, then you have to write the code in Lambda. Lot of questions on Kinesis with phrases like real time or near real time. So keep that in mind, these 6 phrases. I'll show you the examples right away. So these are the sample exam questions given in the AWS official training and certification website. So even in the first question, you can check that a company ingests a large set of clickstream data in nested JSON format from different sources and stores in S3. So data analysts need to analyze the data in combination with data stored in an Amazon Redshift cluster. Data analysts want to build a cost-effective and automated solution for this need. So these are the 2 keywords here, cost-effective and automated solution. When you are saying that solution would be cost-effective, then EMR is not a good choice. You can directly eliminate EMR if you get option like cost-effective. Then automated solution. So Lambda is not an automated solution. If you have to write a Lambda, then this is not an automated solution. We have used the Redshift copy command to move clickstream data directly into the new table. So this will definitely increase the cost. You may have to resize your cluster. That will again increase your cost. Okay, so this is the perfect option. You can use the relationalized class in AWS Glue ETL job. So this is an inbuilt transformation that you have that you can use directly. You don't have to write any word for this, and you can use Redshift Spectrum, because with Redshift Spectrum you can directly query the data which is there in S3. So this is the perfect option here. Again, in the second question, you can check a publisher website captures user activity and sends clickstream data to Kinesis data streams. Publisher wants to design a cost-effective solution to process the data to create a timeline of user activity in the session. Solution must be able to scale depending on the number of active sessions. So that means solution must be automated. Okay, automatic scaling would be there, as well as this should be cost effective. You can see the size of the question here. Okay, even each and every option is of 4 lines. So you have to manage your time while attempting the exam. So this is my advice, guys. These 6 phrases you should always be looking in the question. If you don't get these 6 questions, this question would be very straightforward. Now let's move to the resources part that you should be covering. The first resource, I'll say that the Udemy course on Data Analytics Specialty by Frank and Stefan. This is the most appropriate course which will cover the services that are required for this exam. The second and the most important part of the resources is exam readiness training. So you should be doing this at least twice. So this is very important. Let me show you, the type of content you get. This is the table that I copied from the exam readiness training. This table differentiates different streaming services such as DynamoDB or data streams, Data Firehose, then SQS Standard, SQS FIFO and Apache Kafka. So all these services are differentiated based on if they are AWS managed or not, because as I told you, you may get a keyword that solution should be automatically scaled, automatically managed. Then data retention, you may get a question like data should be consumed within 1 day or within 24 hours. Then there is availability. So these all services are highly available. Then the last one is cost. We can see that DynamoDB streams and Apache Kafka will cost us more as compared to data streams. Let's check another table. So in this table, these services are differentiated based on the attribute like deduping and ordering. So this is again very important. So all these type of tables are there in the exam readiness training. This is the link that I will share with you guys. So you have to log in your account and launch the training. So once launched, you will get a very intuitive training here. Very good resource to cover. Then the third one is AWS Tech Talks and Reinvent videos. These are very helpful. Especially I covered 2 videos that I'll be sharing with you. The first one is Redshift and second one is EMR. So I think these 2 videos are better than any other resource available on Redshift and EMR. I'll show you these 2 YouTube links. You can see that this one, Reinvent 2019 Deep Dive and Best Practices of Redshift, and this one, EMR Deep Dive and Best Practices. So then we have AWS Big Data blog. You will find many good blogs written on different analytics services that you should go through. Then if you are done with this, then you can revise all your syllabus on Jayendra Payil's blog. So I did that. After I was done with all my revisions, you can go on this portal. I'll share the link in description below. Then once you're done with all the above resources, the last one is practice papers. I think you should do the practice papers by John Bonzo. He is a very famous name in certification community, and these are available on Udemy also. I'll be sharing all the links for above resources in the description below. You can go through them. So apart from these 6 resources, you can go through FAQs or white papers, and let me tell you, if you have some hands-on experience, you don't need to go through the FAQs, but these 6 resources are, I think, well enough to pass you this certification. If you have enough time and you are not confident, then you can go through white papers also. Particularly this white paper, Amazon Redshift cost optimization. This is very good in terms of Redshift knowledge, and this big data analytics options on AWS. Again, I'll share with you the link where you'll find all the white papers and guides. So this is it, guys. Let me know in comment section how did you find this video, or if you have any further questions on certification, I'll be happy to answer them. Best of luck to those who are appearing for this certification. Goodbye for now, and do subscribe to my channel.